Of the three teenagers who died that day, including the shooter, will never forget. Tonight, one of the survivors who was inside the classroom recounts the day his life was changed forever. Here's CTV's Tyler Fleming now with a special report 5 decades later.
Father I was teaching that religion class.
A half-century has passed, but for Paul Clark, that one day in high school, October 27th, 1975, rings as clear as a bell.
And so when the shooting started, my immediate reaction was that the wall was falling down, that there was a wall falling on top of me. It was so loud.
4 blasts from a sawed-off shotgun fired across Clark's afternoon grade 13 religion class at St. Pius X High School.
There was mayhem in the classroom.
Then one more gunshot rang out from the hallway. The shooter had stepped out, ending his own life.
Somebody picked up a chair and just smashed the window.
It is how Clark and many other classmates escaped classroom 71 on the ground floor.
Not knowing who was hurt, who had been killed. When we were outside and I heard the name Rob Poulin, I immediately thought that he had been the victim because whoever had been shooting obviously had shot where Rob usually sat.
But it was Robert Poulin who pulled the trigger. 6 students were injured, including Mark Huff, who required emergency brain surgery.
Mark Huff didn't die for about a month. That was weighing on us.
What unfolded at St. Pius was the end of a disturbing tragedy beginning earlier that morning, after Poulin lured 17-year-old Kim Rabo into his basement bedroom. The Glebe Collegiate student was sexually assaulted and murdered. Poulin then set the room on fire before heading to school on his 10-speed bike. Firefighters discovered her body.
I was astounded to find out that he was the one who was the perpetrator.
And in a time before cell phones.
I lived in Aylmer, Quebec at the time. From Pius, you had to take the 71 bus and go all the way downtown. Then you had to take another bus. And I think what I did is I simply got on the bus.
And stunned, like most, by horrific events that rattled authorities and shocked the city. In the coming days, nearly 200 people would turn in their guns to police. Meanwhile, students were expected to return to class.
Now it would be so different. I think a school would probably be closed for a week, and there'd be counseling on site or wherever. I had English class in room 71 the very next day. It had been painted. The windows had all been repaired. It was as if nothing had happened. It was very weird. And then after about 10 minutes, Mr. Crow, the teacher, I think he could see the look in our eyes, and he said, I think that's probably enough for today. There's a photo.
While many called Poulin a loner.
We spent time together at lunch. We went from good friends in grade 11 to grade 13, never seeing him. And so over the years, I've thought about, did he become more withdrawn?
And why?
I've always contended that maybe it was a rash act and that it was a copycat act because the Mississauga or Toronto shooting happened about 6 months earlier, that this was a last-minute thing. However, since we've also learned that the firearm was purchased just a few days before, perhaps it was premeditated.
Back-to-back school shootings, galvanizing events helping to reform Canadian gun laws, leading to a ban on automatic weapons.
People were affected in different ways. They're all the same class. Life somehow had to go on at St. Pius.
Classmates bonded in tragedy, many who are about to meet again.
1976 is when we graduated, so 2026 is the 50th anniversary of our graduation, so some people are organizing some kind of 50th anniversary. So I wonder what that would be like, knowing what this piece that we lived through. But it was only one piece.
Tyler Fleming, CTV News.
And we have more details on how Ottawa is marking 50 years since the St. Pius School shooting on our website, ctvnewsottawa.ca.